son más finos, es lo que decimos en español, ¿no? Oh, sus rasgos, their facial features are more fine, are more, and what we really mean by that is that they resemble more the features of a white person. That's why they're more good looking. There's always this but. It's like, oh, he's black or she's black, but her features or his features are more like a white person, meaning they are good looking in some way, And I think this is a product of the influence that we had from European standards of beauty. When we look at a person, we think that white is beautiful, and therefore everybody who wants to be beautiful must resemble as close as they can these features. And I think that's something that that is very prominent in Latino culture, but I know that in cultures all over the world now, because of westernization and globalization, these things are like reaching every corner of the earth.
Yeah, and how much more marketable it makes you by having those features. Like, I read an article looking at like celebrities, for example, like Shakira and Jennifer Lopez, who are Latin American women, and seeing them as they've become more and more, powerful and more famous, their image has really changed a lot. Shakira used to have like dark, long locks, and she's gone more and more blonde. And same with J-Lo, and you see this and just kind of showing that the more accepted and the more comfortable people are, and the less just question you bring about people's like background by blending into this European image of beauty.
Well, that's so much dictated by Hollywood, though, too, in the industry. I mean, you really, from someone who's being from LA, and I look very white, and my mom was a woman of color and did not, and the tip about it is to survive in the industry, you literally become part of this white supremacist model of beauty. And it's almost like a machine that plows forward. I mean, you've got the same thing with Rihanna, right? If you look at J-Lo in her early days, she was so indigenous. She was so beautiful.
Yeah.
So brown woman, right? And she's become this, basically abuela, right? It's just crazy. It's crazy. And
playing the roles of white women in like Made in Manhattan.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly. And but this is very much a plan. This is not, you can't actually even blame the women themselves. If you're part at all, even slightly, of the industry, or someone being down from LA, the pressure to become, to become this white woman, this white standard, is so intense that it gets to the point of you don't get roles, you don't get the contract. I mean, it's crazy,
And then thinking about having them, fit into it because there is all this pressure about contracts and fitting into this image of Hollywood, but how susceptible their audience is, and seeing that and how much an impact it has on young girls.
And let me bring up an article that I read about Afghanistan. That after the U.S. invaded Afghanistan and the Taliban was not in control, because the Taliban was very conservative in terms of everything that was imported from el extranjero, right, from foreign cultures. And so when the United States took over, there was an article that talked about how the first movie that was shown was Titanic, and after Titanic was shown, almost every single man in Afghanistan wanted to have Leonardo DiCaprio's hairstyle. There was like this wave of hairstyles that looked exactly like Leonardo DiCaprio, and that was an example of how influential Hollywood has been in our cultures, and how they kind of embedded these images of what beauty is supposed to be in our heads, that we walk around having telenovelas filled with white people that do not represent our people at all.
Yeah,
exactly.
Seriously.
And then also the stereotypical, the lady who's the maid is
indigenous woman, yes.